Have a good look around you. Chances are you're sitting on a comfortable sofa or bed. You have a job, or you go to school. You have food on your table and clean water to drink. You have a roof over your head, and you feel secure and respected in your community. But what if life was completely different for you? If you lived in shabby conditions, without food and basic necessities, and were constantly under threat? In today's video, we will be showing you the reality of one of the world's biggest refugee camps in Bangladesh, the Cox Bazaar. Life for a refugee, escaping a land of conflict, is hard already. They must leave everything behind, go to a foreign country, and start building a life from scratch. Their future holds no guarantee either. They escape hoping for security, but unfortunately, life still remains difficult for them. Camps in Cox Bazaar are densely populated with nearly 1 million Muslim refugees. The refugees live in makeshift shelters that are made of bamboo and tarpaulins. These shelters are vulnerable to weather conditions and can be easily destroyed by flood during the monsoon seasons. Living space is extremely congested with a poorly lit atmosphere. There is a lack of food supplies, and drinking water is contaminated. There are no proper sanitation facilities. Lack of hygiene brings about many diseases and illness. Medical supplies are scant. The COVID-19 pandemic caused much destruction due to the lack of medical facilities. The closed, squalid spaces caused rapid spread of the virus. Only 20% of the camps had infection and control committees before February 2020. Fortunately, this was increased later on, but a lot of damage had already been done. There is a general lack of awareness, and people had little or no understanding of the importance of social distancing and good hygiene. Within the camps, criminal gangs and armed groups have increased in number. Women are most vulnerable, and children are sold into slavery. When the areas surrounding the camps started to see an increase in the number of crimes and violence, the public put pressure on the Bangladeshi government to tighten security inside the camps. In July 2020, Bangladesh's Armed Police Battalion took over the security. These people were supposed to be the protector of the weak and vulnerable, but the abuse and persecution has since increased. Security has further deteriorated. There is great evidence that the Armed Police Battalion has colluded with the gangs that operate within the camps. They have also allied with the community leaders, and together they all carry out extortion of the weak. People are randomly arrested and are then forced to give bribes for avoiding prison. Those who fail to give bribes are implicated in drug trafficking cases. People who are detained are slapped, kicked, and beaten till they turn black and blue. Any residents that talk to journalists or try and share their stories on social media are also arrested and locked up in prison. There are numerous stories of people whose families have sold all their jewelry and other possessions just to give bribes to the officers and get their loved ones out of prison. The refugees have no confirmed statuses and no domestic rights, which allows the people with more control to exploit and misuse them for their benefit. There are very few job opportunities, and businesses were closed because of the tightening of security. There are strict controls on movement of people. Education has been prohibited in camps. The government fears that if the children are taught the Bangladeshi curriculum, they might not want to go back in the future, as they would no longer know the language of their native country. To ease the pressure of Cox Bazaar, Bangladesh has attempted to move refugees into an island in the Bay of Bengal, but the low-lying island is susceptible to being submerged by monsoon rains and not deemed as a safe accommodation, but thousands of them have been forced to move once again. Attempts have been made to send the refugee back through a repatriation program, But many people have refused to go as they are unsure about security, access to citizenship, and livelihood opportunities. This lack of success has frustrated the Bangladeshi people and the government as they are a country that is already battling with poverty and scarce resources. The prolonged stay of the refugees is causing instability within Bangladesh itself. Sheikh Hasina has expressed that increasing number of refugees are causing a serious impact on the economy, security, and socio-political stability of the country. China has been at the forefront of the repatriation program, but the fact that it has major investment in the perpetrator country has resulted in them showing stronger support towards them. The perpetrator country is China's West Coast dream. It is geopolitically important as it can provide direct access to dual port facilities in the Indian Ocean. This crisis has gone to the International Court of Justice, but the perpetrator country has denied any wrongdoings against the Muslims. The UN has been criticized for failing to take necessary actions to resolve the conflict, but the reality of the refugee crisis is a lot more complicated than it seems. Aid workers have confessed that there have been systematic failures. The reason they believe is that China and Russia have used their veto powers to avoid coming to a solution. If China and Russia hold a firm stance towards the perpetrators, chances are they will lean towards the US and allow them to increase their troops on the West Coast. This would have devastating effects on China, economically and politically. The refugee issue has become more about power and control, and less about those who are suffering. All the major powers are trying to use the situation to benefit their own geopolitical statuses. No one cares that millions of lives are at stake. Recently, more and more refugees have been embarking upon dangerous boat journey, hoping to find a country that would take them in. Many are lost at sea. Many have drowned. So again, have a good look around you. Notice all the blessings that you have been bestowed with, the ease, the comfort, the security. Why have you been given these blessings? And the refugees, so many hardships. No reason, except that Allah has been kind to you. So be grateful with every breath you take, and pray that Allah gives a comfortable abode to the Muslim refugees who have been suffering for years.